Seemed like this would be a good day to do a video of the yard again. This is the kitchen barbecue deck, and this garden right here, which is hard to see because it's a little dark, was to be a herb garden. Didn't get enough sun, so I've changed it to a flower garden where there's lots of shade plants. And perhaps I can get a few of the caladium, anthurium, and coleus, and a few others. Over here, I've tried to do several things on this side. Right now I'm trying to do some cherry tomatoes. I've got 6 or 7 plants in 4 containers, and they did a lot of skyrocketing growth, but not much. I'm going to get a few tomatoes, as you can see right there maybe. But that's it for this garden. It has changed. Next we're going to go up into the west orchard, or the citrus orchard I like to call it. First, at the lower end here, we have, this is a avocado tree that wasn't producing, and I spliced this branch on here from a producing avocado tree, so I hope next year to have avocados on that branch. And then we have 6 papaya trees. I eat a lot of papaya, and I've had some off of 2 trees here, but they're all just coming into fruit. Got several kinds. Got round ones, long ones, and these are all doing very nicely. There's the citrus area here. This is a Darcy Satsuma, and I just planted it this year. There may be a little fruit started there, or here, or here's one over on this side. This is the best orange I've ever eaten, not from this tree, but one like it. This is a Mineola Tangelo, and it has a fruit here. Another little start there. Some other ones. A couple growing over on this side. Really look forward to eating those. Over here we have the lemon tree that I planted when I first got here. Still no fruit yet. And this is the lime tree I planted when I first got here, and no fruit yet. Here's 2 banana trees. Jeanette was here a year and a half ago, and we planted 2 of them. I planted this one, Jeanette planted that one. She's got some kind of touch. The tree she planted already has 2 keikis, or babies. So it's going to be a substantial grove on its own, and I still hold out hope for this one I planted. This is a pineapple tree I planted when I first got here. It was the same size as this one. So one is growing, the other not too much, and no fruit from them yet. This is another tangerine. This one's a Satsuma. Can't tell you much else about it till we get some fruit from it. Got some nice hibiscus plants here. This one is blooming for you today. I planted some marigolds along the edge. They're growing, but no flowers. If anyone has a clue on that, please contact me. Tell me what to do. About a month and a half ago, Catherine, the bird scientist who was living here, she's in Maine right now on a study. Should be back in about September sometime. But we planted this whole area with sunflowers. The ones in the back will be 10 to 12 feet high. These other ones have started to bloom, and then she also planted some zinnias along the bottom edge here, which are doing pretty well and look nice. I planted a cutting from something called Snow in Summer, and this will grow into a large shrub. I've already planted some starts from it around here, and this will all be a sort of a mint green background with white flowers on top. Here we have something yellow, I can't remember what it's called. Here we have some coleus I planted on this hill. And here we have, it's called joyweed. It's purple. It's supposed to be a ground cover. The weeds are doing a fair share of cover, but hopefully we'll knock them out soon. Up here is where I decided to locate the beehive. And just yesterday I moved the bees from the delivery box into their hive where they'll be for a long time to come. But they're very busy. They don't bother people at all. Unless you happen to hurt one, you might alert some other ones. But they're doing their thing, and I'm glad of it. I've cleared out this whole side up here in the palms. It used to be jungle like this, but this is nearly the property line, so I like the buffer, and we just keep piling up the berms. Right in here, these two top plants are, well, that'll come to me. Here's some canna lilies. This orange one, this one's a red one, and that's another one there. They're just not flowering at the moment. This tree, we need to spray some neem oil on it. It looks like some leafy cutters are on it. But this is Amherstia nobilis. I've got two of these. Planted this one here quite a while ago. It was pretty sick to start with. And then we come over here. These are the vincas and the picas. And there's some impatiens mixed in. I can see I've got to get some more water up here. Been dry for about 5 days, and the impatiens are showing it. And then I planted some heather along this area. Here's the other Amherstia nobilis, or they also call it the Pride of Burma. And it will get red flowers which look like this, and it should be all up and down the tree. The tree will get to 25 feet. Excuse me. Over here is the vegetable garden. The peas are fading. It's getting too hot for them. I'll have to pick those off soon. There's some tomato plants. There's some potatoes that have just seem to want it to expire, and so I'll have to be cutting off the greens, now brown. This is how I start seeds. I've got carrots and onions started here. The slugs, the rats, and the birds seem to get the seeds all the time, so I put them under screens till they get started, and then I deal with the slugs another way. This is 2 batches of carrots. These are about ready to pull. And it looks like they're doing okay. First time I've got carrots to do anything. I moved the herbs from up in the other garden down to here. Right now they're getting a little spindly, but we'll see what we can do with that. This is a pepper tree that I planted right after I got here because a person gave me 1 pepper and said plant the seed. This is 1 plant. It's been producing for over a year and a half now. This one back here, just starting to have growth in it, is a Hawaiian chili pepper. Here's another tomato plant. Looks like it's doing real well. And again, some pretty zinnias, which are doing very nicely. Over here, we have the mac nut tree. Last year it delivered about 3,000 macadamia nuts, and they're very enjoyable. And a lot of people think so, but they grow up on the tree like so, and then when they're ready, they just fall to the ground and you pick them up. So far, about 100 have dropped this year. I don't see any today. Okay, now we're over to the east orchard, and this area up here in the shade is where I make dirt, compost, mulch, chipping. Got compost bins, a chipper, chip up any prunings, and a worm bin. And they're all working. This is an asparagus garden. I planted 2 kinds of asparagus about a month ago, and obviously one kind is doing better than the other kind. 2 rows on the left are doing pretty well. This area right up in here did get attacked by a battalion of African snails when they first came up, and wiped it out pretty well, but I'm getting some things to come through, so maybe they'll be okay. This is 2 lilac-claw vines, and that's a yellow fruit. And once I start to eat it, I'll tell you more about it. Here's another papaya, and there was another one over there. This is some bamboo I transplanted to see if it'd make it, and it doesn't look like it's going to make it, but if the root ball can produce another stem, then it'll be okay. And the vine growing up it is called blue jade, and once the stem gets to be 1.25 inches thick, then it will start to flower, I'm told. Over here is a Jabotacaba, which is a tree that will grow, and the fruit grows out of the trunk. Something about bigger than a grape, smaller than a plum, and a purple fruit. And I couldn't really tell you what it tastes like. Here's an avocado tree, started from seed. Another papaya. This little thing right here by the stake is a Malabar chestnut, and they're interesting. You get a fruit the size of a hole bigger than a baseball, smaller than a softball, and when it's ready to harvest, you can just break it apart and there's lots of nuts inside. I found that my first taste of one, it tasted kind of funny, but the aftertaste was really good. So I'll stick with that. And guess what? This is more papaya there. And over here's another one. Last year I posted a picture of this elephant ear plant, which I think had 3 leaves on it then. It's doing pretty well. The anthuriums over here are also doing well. There's some ginger in there, 3 different colors. The calatheum are coming along really well. I'm happy. There's another one back in there. They like the shade. There's that polka dot begonia. It's growing up this year. That's one I forget. And then a couple of those kind of common things, but they get nice flowers. These are heliconias, and you see you get nice flowers down early in the stem, and later on up at the tops there'll be something called yellow dancers, and they aren't out yet, but if things keep going well, they will be. Here's my other, well, this over here is called a red banana, and you can see the stalks are red, and it produces a banana of a different flavor, and hopefully it's got a kiki coming out of it, so they're gonna thrive, and I hope we get a taste of it. Here's my regular bananas. Don't have any flowering right now, but they're coming along. This area down here, I have a hard time keeping up with the groundwork, and I'm not sure what I want to do with it. The neighbor's going to cut down some of his big trees, and then there'll be more sun in this area, and maybe something else will grow. We can figure out what later on. This tree over here is another kind of avocado. It got lots of flowers this year, but no fruit. So I'm going to try a fertilizer, which generally you do here in the winter for those. This, while I'm up here, I've put in, taken out one fairly invasive tree invading my view, planted some other things, more anthuriums, planted a bird feeder, they love it, black oil sunflowers. Over here's my dragon fruit, and it's not flowering, although I'm doing what I'm told. There's a nice little pitcher plant, which is kind of cute. It traps bugs in those pitchers. There's a number of things going on here. This is an interesting plant. It's called a golden shrimp, and it's doing real well. Planted that about a month and a half ago. wandering down into the front yard. We have 17 coffee plants and 1 lemon tree, which is a good producer. When I get to someplace where you can see the berries, I'll show you how well the coffee is doing. I think pretty well. Here comes the lemon. Here's a lemon. Here's a bunch of lemons. Here's some coffee, a little bit down there. One of these trees, maybe we'll get out in the sun. Coffee beans are coming, and they're looking really good. I'm happy about the coffee so far. Here's some lemons that were the first out, and they're getting to the point where they'll be fine to pick any day now. Down on the other side of that mess you see that belongs to the neighbor is actually a pig pen. But on the other side of that, I own another piece of property, and it has another 80 coffee plants on it. So pretty soon I've got to start working the coffee. And then my Hass avocado tree on the way over, this is called a needle leaf tree. It hasn't done much. It's been in there about 4 months. Looks a little bigger than it did a while ago. But look at the avocados on this thing. There. That's way more than I saw last year. On there. They're just kind of everywhere. And they're mighty good. So in about a month, some of them will be eating size, and we'll start to enjoy those again. Before I moved in, like 6 months before, the former owner planted pineapple down here. And so here come a couple here. There's another one down on the other side of that palm. These will be probably ready in July. And there's another one up here on the edge. So I'm hoping my next project is to clean all the in-between these plants up and plant some flowers. Here's the bamboo clump that I took the transplant from. And that's it. That's a walk around the yard. There's the house, looking good. And I hope you all get to come see me sometime.